Okay, my friends, our top universities have made a decision about a spaceship or a chunk of hydrogen. They can't come to Avi Loeb, who refuses to engage with me from Harvard, says this could be a spaceship from another solar system. Well, guess what else happened here? Yale News, they say, well, it may be a chunk of hydrogen, just a chunk of hydrogen, and that's all it is. Well, I can tell you what, I looked at this very carefully, and I know specifically exactly what it is, and you will in a minute too. Okay, as you know, I am Roger from Mudfossil University, which now leads every other university in the entire world because we are honest and truthful. And we are extremely knowledgeable in every range, which Avi Loeb comes to the astronomy, just knowing what things look like in space. Well, I understand astronomy, I understand chemistry, I understand biology, I understand physics, I understand every bit of it. And here's what here's what he is looking at, calling a spaceship, and Yale's looking at calling possibly a chunk of hydrogen. You see these little balls here? When bones interact with other bones, like in your finger, they lock in with these balls, and then a strap, and then another set of balls. You see here? Let's see if we can find that. Okay, my friends, I'm just going to tell you right now, straight out, that is a finger. It's a comet or an asteroid or whatever they want to call it. They say it's the first thing to come through our solar system, from out of our solar system. I'm going to tell you that's a finger. That right there is what's called grip skin. You see where it's peeling off? That is what's called an apical tuft. I have done this a lot, and I understand it extremely well, and I can prove everything I'm saying. This is what an apical tuft is. It sits right at the tip of your finger. You see where that ball is right there? That's it. And it is where all the little tendons pop into these holes, these balls, and that's a tendon ball right there. And that's right at the very tip. This is the grip skin. This also is grip skin. Let me see if I can make sure you see this all right. That right there, you see that? That's fingerprints. And you could see the fingerprints in that too. If you look at it carefully, you can see the fingerprints. They are there. I don't know if you can see them in this actual camera, but if you look at very carefully. Now, I have looked at all the other anatomy. I understand it explicitly. This is the vein blood. This is the artery blood. This right here is where your finger locks right in, just like mine, right there at the end. There it is right there. It's ripped off. That little ball runs to this ball right here. Now take your time, slow down. Look at that ball. You see these little tiny balls in the center of that round ball? And you see the same thing over here? Let me just home in and out of it so that sometimes further away you can see it better. This anchors itself up to this. That's how your fingers can move and do all these special things. There's a ton of tendons. I'm going to show you all in an anatomical. This is the joint right there. That's your fingertip. That's the apical tuft. There's a little tip that does this. Now, I showed you my grip skin. Let me show you where it came from. And it is DNA certified human. What we were looking at is these balls in a little round circle that would be in each one of these bones. And that's how they allow each other to pull back and forth and do all these special things that you can do. And that finger was ripped right off of here. And the blood vessels come down on both sides. It's my logo. This is how the blood works in your hand. One thing sends up an artery, sends it in, and then all of the little blood vessels bring it across, and it comes back through the vein and comes up. This was the vein return on here, and this is the artery up for this one. The same, it splits. You see it? Splits up this way, splits up. So you got two coming up, two coming back, two coming up, two coming back. And that's what we're seeing is I don't know which finger it is, but it broke right off here, and we can see the artery and the vein, the dark and the light. That's what happens. All right, I apologize for the picture. It's not the best, but it's enough to see. This is the fingernail. That is the bone in the back that bumps up against the next bone. This is the edge of the fingernail. I smashed this off, so this is it right here. That's where the fingernail was, coming around this way. This broke off coming over. Your finger is the same. If you look right next to your fingernail, your fingerprints start, and that's the fingerprints. That's the fingerprints of that guy. Now, I'm going to show you what grip skin looks like. You're going to see it, and that's how they peel right off. There's no mystery here now. The mystery is, why won't people like Avi Loeb from Harvard University, I believe, or maybe it's MIT, I don't know, none of them will look. Yale, absolutely no, but not a single one will even respond in 10 years. 100% have been non-responsive. Even after I had CAT scans and DNA, this has been DNA tested. I have other ones here that DNA tested. Here's one right here. That's also DNA tested. That's the fingertip of another giant, much smaller than this one. This one here is this is about 3 feet long. So I thought of 200 feet or so. This guy's maybe 60, 70 feet tall. But this has also been DNA certified, CAT scanned, and you're going to see the black and the white. Now you can't see it here, but you would see it in the CAT scan, and you could see all of the, you could see even where the fingernail was. The fingernail ran right up here. I mean, it's all there. So the real mystery is, why won't our educators educate? All right, what we're looking at is a bone. This is the finger, one of these. I don't know which one, but it's ripped off right here. And you see these little spots and these spots. That's where those balls invest. There's like make a little circle here, a little circle here. That's the apical tuft right there. Now let's look at the ligaments and so forth. All right, over here, this is the bottom of the hand, which is what we're looking at the bottom of the fingers. Now, you see these little tendons here? This is what we're seeing. If you look at it carefully, you can see the pattern of the tendons in there. They're still there. And there's the apical tuft, like I said before, and you can see the pattern of the bone and everything in there. But you have to look. You see this? This is all the different depths of tissue, because there's 100 different layers of tissue in there. I mean, zillions of layers. Anyway, that is what is out there in space. I can't account for it, so don't say, "Oh, I don't know." I have no idea. I might have showed this before, but this is the fingerprints. That's what it is, grip skin. And you can see the grip skin on the fingerprints of that comet or whatever it is exactly this. And you can actually see the fingerprints just like you have on you. It is what it is. Now we have to deal with it. Now, I'm going to go this a little further, because we've got to solve these issues and become aware of reality and not run away from it. They will never, ever, ever understand anything until they start to understand everything is made of life. This is 6 years ago, Comet 67P, mysterious life, features discussed. Well, here it is right here. That is tendon. That is either muscle or tendon bundles. Now, I showed this in extreme detail. You see this? That is a tendon bundle or a muscle bundle. These are tendon fibrils. Get an anatomist, somebody that knows what they're doing. Don't get a geologist or a physicist. They have no clue what they're doing, none whatsoever. They just guessing at things, and absolutely insane. This is 100% biological. I have the spectral analysis, and this shows how the tendon entheses grow and how they. I've showed all the other stuff. I have the exact same things here. These are the muscle fibers and bundles. You know, not the same size. And you see this? These are. You get this material. Let me see if I can. Look at this. This is these fibers that are on that. You see this? You see these things here? This is an identical structure. You see. No, let me just turn the sound off. This is where these anchor into the bone and so forth. This is the tendon stalk. I have one here. It's identical. Identical. It's literally identical. I think I show it here. Here it is right here. You see that ball? Watch this. You see this stalk coming out? There it is right there. And the ball right here, this whole ball is exactly the same as the ball that you see on 67P. And that's the stalk up above. Let me see if I got a better. Well, that maybe show it better. And this is the one that came through. And that came through space. This is a meteorite. And everything cooked off except the really tough tough stuff, which is this fibrous stuff. All the other stuff is burnt out of it. And the side exploded right off of it because it was still wet with blood inside when it entered our atmosphere. And it exploded. And I have it right over here somewhere. Oh, hold on a second. Here it is right here. All right, you see what you see here? That's a fingertip. And the apical tuft is right up at the end here, like the other one. Now that's cooked off. That just burnt up coming in. And that's the structure of the fingertip. It's square like this when it starts. And there's flesh around it. And that right there, that ball, is exactly identical to Comet 67P. It's a tendinenthesis. I don't know where it came from, but this is from a fingertip. And this is the reason this side is exploded is because this is wet. It was wet with blood when it came through our atmosphere. Boiling, 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 pow! And blew that blood right out of there. Cooked it right out of there. This is the side, you see this side here? That's the side where the vein is. The vein, it doesn't explode because it's a different type of blood. It has less oxygen in it. This is the FeO3. The other one is FeO2. Now, this exploded. This is from outer space, and I've looked at this in a microscope, and I've seen its blood vessels. It's a blood cells, and that right there, you see those little spiky-looking things. I don't know if you can see that or not, but those little spiky things are exactly the spiky-looking things that are on Comet 67P all around it, because it at one time was anchored into some form of a bone or flesh. I followed 67P right from the beginning when they started the Rosetta mission, and the Philae lander landed on it, and it sampled these different molecules, and they are 100% biological. And they said they're 100% biological. They have no accounting for this whatsoever. Plus, when the astronauts go in space and they take the spacewalks and they come back and take their suits off, they say they smell like steak. And the reason is, or burnt metal, they say. Well, blood is where all your metals are, basically, is in your blood. They're transition metals. They transfer with ligand-attached complexes. They transfer little molecules back and forth through your body. You have to understand biology. You have to understand chemistry, anatomy, space, physics, electronics, molecular everything. If you don't understand all of that, you're just lost, because all you can do is read a book that somebody told you to read, and then you can't speak up against anybody else because, oh no, I'm the expert in that field. Well, I can tell you what, bring all your experts together, because you're going to need every one of them, because nothing is just one thing. Nothing is just one thing. A bird doesn't say, "Look, that's a feather, so I know about birds." No, absolutely not. It's time to straighten out this mess we got. Okay, I never come to something without trying to have a solution for the issue. So I started Mudfossil University, 6-7 years ago, and it never went anywhere because nobody was really interested in helping at all, and still nobody is. I've been calling, because I'm pretty much not going to do this anymore. As far as I'm concerned, I have enough stuff out there that's proven my case. Why should I continue to do this and just butt my head against the wall when academia doesn't do anything and nobody cares enough to confront them? That's my issue. So, I really want people to understand, because it's so much deeper than just understanding the reality of the world we live in. It's the reality of the eternity that we're going to be in. In my world, that's what I'm looking at now. I'm 72 years old, and I'm looking at eternity pretty damn close in the face. You do whatever you think is right, but right now, my goal, my mission, is to be sure that I understand and hopefully can help you understand reality. Then you take it from where you want. That's called free will. If you don't do what you're supposed to do, you're screwed. This is as simple as that. But once you learn what you're supposed to do, you're okay. That's what it says. That's what they say. Now, I have no truthful information about this that I can 100% say to you. But I can tell you what, from everything I have seen, the ancient texts look very, 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 very valid to me. and I see things that nobody else can explain, and they run and hide. And that's exactly what was written. They will deceive you with tales they have concocted so that they can take advantage of you. Exactly what's happened.